Well, welcome back. Let's take a look at crypto this morning. And as you can see, Bitcoin is well above $100,000 right now. Crypto seeing a major boom since President-elect Donald Trump's election victory. The President-elect's son and Trump Organization Executive Vice President Eric Trump said at a Bitcoin conference in Abu Dhabi earlier this week that his father will transform the U.S. into, quote, the crypto capital of the world. And he'll be an unbelievable ally to the industry. Joining me now is the Digital Chamber founder and CEO, Perianne Boring. Perianne, great to see you.
Hey, good morning, Maria.
Do you agree that President Trump will create such a backdrop, making the U.S. the crypto capital of the world?
Well, so far, what President-elect Donald Trump has proposed, what he's outlined to our community, would absolutely solidify the United States leadership in the digital asset and blockchain technology ecosystem. He gave his famous Bitcoin speech in Nashville just a couple of months ago, and he talked about creating a stockpile, a Bitcoin stockpile on behalf of the United States. He's discussed aligning tax policy to drive more economic activity into this space, and he wants to clear up a lot of these regulatory friction points for the industry. The U.S. Has driven out crypto activity under the Biden administration. We need leadership at the very, very top to bring these markets back to the United States, and everything we've seen so far is certainly aligned with that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned what's going on globally, because that's really a key. President Trump has backed that speech up, with naming some key positions here. And Paul Atkins, who's coming in for the SEC, has been very much adamant, repeatedly arguing that excessive SEC enforcement has caused leading-edge crypto developers to look to Asia and Europe rather than the United States. Trump also brought in former Republican commissioner for the CFTC and current head of a venture capital fund, Brian Quintenz, reportedly emerging as a top contender to lead the CFTC under President Trump. He also, as I mentioned, nominated Paul Atkins to succeed Gary Gensler as the next chairman of the SEC. Perianne, I want to ask you about that, because the word on Wall Street seems to be that his nomination is likely to bring Democrats to the table for crypto legislation and market structure, because they want to see more clarity in terms of who's overseeing the crypto industry, right? Right now, you've got confusion between the SEC, the CFTC, and others who want a piece of the oversight.
Yeah, there certainly has been a turf war between the SEC and the CFTC over recent years. There's been confusing and conflicting statements from the commissioners, the chairs, the officials at the SEC and the CFTC saying cryptocurrencies are regulated under the SEC's jurisdiction. CFTC is saying the same thing. So this creates a lot of risk for businesses who want to be compliant, who want to follow the law, who want to do the right thing. If you don't know who your regulator is, how do you do that? And
right.
This is a huge part of what's driven the industry out of the United States. I've worked very closely with both Quintenz and Paul Atkins over a number of years. Paul Atkins is actually one of our advisory board members at the Digital Chamber. He is absolutely committed to bringing that regulatory clarity. Brian Quintenz is a former CFTC commissioner. He's got technical expertise. He has industry expertise. That checks a lot of boxes in terms of who's going to lead the agency. Quintenz famously called for a self-regulatory agency back in 2018 for the digital asset market. So he's not new to this space. He's shown great expertise. I think he'd be a great champion, and Paul Atkins certainly as well. So these are great potential new heads of the agencies, and is certainly putting us in the right step. Personnel is policy in Washington, and having the right people in place is critical.
And to that end, Trump has also tapped former PayPal chief operating officer and co-founder of Kraft Ventures, David Sachs, to be his White House AI and crypto czar. Arkansas Congressman French Hill, who has been picked to lead the House Financial Services Committee, plans to lead an investigation into Operation Choke Point 2.0, the alleged debanking of a crypto company. But I want to get your take on what this could mean for the oversight of crypto, Perianne, because there is some expectation on Wall Street that DOGE comes in and starts cleaning house here as well. You just talked about the confusion between the Securities and Exchange Commission and the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, and who's really in charge in terms of oversight. Would you, as a participant in this industry, support a merger of the SEC and the CFTC, which is what one of the analysts I spoke with recently is talking about? He's watching to see if Paul Atkins gets behind that idea to merge the CFTC into the SEC. He says Congress has rejected that idea previously, but Trump's DOGE commission could view it as a cost savings, Perianne.
Well, if we're looking at it through the Department of Government Efficiency, we are one of the only countries in the world that has a separate securities and derivatives or futures regulator. So there's certainly an efficiency argument to make to bring the two agencies together. And given that there's been so much conflict between the two and a turf war between the two, I could certainly see why this would be appealing to industry. This is something that has been talked about at the highest levels of the incoming administration. It likely would take congressional support to get this done. This is not a conversation that Congress is currently having, so that certainly will be a challenge. But I love how Elon Musk and Vivek are looking to bring forward proposals to shake things up in D.C. I think this is what is needed. That's the point of DOGE, and I think this should be on the table.
Yeah, but real quick before you go, Perianne, we've been talking a lot about oversight. I want to ask you just about prices in general. We had David Towell on the other day, and he said he believes Bitcoin is going to $250,000 by the end of next year. And you say?
Maybe he's not bullish enough. The stock to flow model says it's going to be at over 800,000 by the end of next year. If Donald Trump is successful in putting forth a lot of the proposals that he's proposed to the community, the sky is the limit because Bitcoin has a fixed supply.
All right, Perianne, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Maria.
Perianne